Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Bublé. I wanted to talk about listener Andy Dixon's question associated with how I find time to do all these various things. Firstly, I want to say, in 2016, I had the opportunity to meet Andy Dixon and his family, and I have never met a greater embodiment of the way I want my life to be than Andy Dixon. It's terrible to say it out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. Andy Dixon is a wonderful man who cooks an amazing curry and lives in a Welsh village, for want of a better term, that has been selected on so many humanitarian and just generally positive things that I just have to say hats off to Andy Dixon, and I'm really very appreciative to have you in my life. You're someone who I point to frequently in discussions with my wife associated with why these podcast things are important, and I just want to say thank you, Andy, for the benefit that you've given to my life. I feel, and this almost is kind of embodied by what I just said, a really great degree of responsibility putting this audio out there. I feel it's one of the few things that I do associated with my humanity that I can provide to a variety of people, this thing, audio. What happened with Stone Ape was suboptimal for a variety of reasons. But I think I can continue to talk to at least some of the people that used to listen to Stone Ape, plus a bunch of new people that have adopted Short Funk. And this, I think, is a responsibility that is very important to me. Model Rail Radio as well. When I listen back to Model Rail Radio through the past year, and when I think about the way I am currently versus the way I was when I recorded these recordings, this is a very powerful therapeutic thing. And saying that recording these podcasts is selfless is ignoring that. It's actually quite selfish as well. That being said, this experiment continues through it continuing. And in order to maintain something, you need to put in a degree of effort, which is beyond perhaps what most people would do. I find this with open source with Noble Ape as well. And in doing that, what I'm trying to do is gather together a community, a self-selected community of people who I want to spend time with. And beautifully, this is what happened in 2016 with my ability to go and spend an evening with Andy and his family. That I've self-selected a group of people that I want to spend time with. How selfish is that? So that's where I find the energy associated with these things. That I think I've been given a series of skills and a series of insights which I've tried to perfect in some way and which I've tried to enact in order to get people who I want to spend time with involved in my life. The nature of my life is very much associated with moving. It's very much associated with failing to maintain lasting friendships and failing to maintain human interactions. And what's curious, particularly going back to Australia, is the number of people that actually want to see me. Like, really want to see me. Very, very curious to me. Because I think of myself as just a bad friend on a number of levels. But what I can cultivate here through these podcasts is my voice and my ideas and an ability to reach a bunch of people. And certainly when this is talked about associated with something that I might lose professionally, like, people may not know this, but a number of technology companies actually don't allow people to do what I'm doing currently. A number of technology companies don't allow people to maintain open source projects or do a variety of things. So when I talk about this in this slide, what I'm talking about is where I am currently, the luxury that I have currently, aside from not being able to record these things when I'm working, is associated with just actually having the ability to do these things. And if people don't understand that really fundamentally, if it's not stated explicitly, then it may be difficult to understand. And certainly one of the greatest criticisms I have with technology companies is that they have a view of their employees which is very curious and very different than the way I want to be as a person. Might have impacted me professionally considerably. Who knows? So yes, social responsibility, social advantage, a variety of things motivate my recording of these podcasts. We talk about things like Noble Ape as well. I think it's a responsibility. It's a legacy. It's something very real and something I've seen in other people where when they stop doing these things, they disappear. So for the amount of time I have on this rock, I want to at least try to appear as much as possible and do things that hopefully will impact people sufficient that they will use it to change things. And this change, this movement towards some greater ideal, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. That's why I put out these podcasts, fundamentally. Really selfish stuff. Tom Bublé in San Jose, signing out.